Well, it's that time. It's the Daily Three. That's 3 questions, 3 minutes apiece. Take it away, Sam.
On Tuesday at OTAs, we talked to Dalvin Tomlinson, the defensive tackle, who's going to be a big part of that defensive line and stopping the run. And that's been a problem for the Vikings, Ron, the past 2 years. Even though they had Michael Pierce last year and Dalvin Tomlinson, still couldn't stop the run. So do you think that this shift to a 3-4, is that going to help the Vikings start stuffing these ball carriers? How do they fix that run defense?
Yeah, so the 3-4, from a passing standpoint, definitely confuses the quarterback. From a run standpoint, not to get too deep into the weeds, it's a count. So normally the way I was taught is you're counting the guy that's either head up or attached to the nose. So you can put him in the 0 count, and then from there, his right or his left, you count every other guy. If there's 3 guys left and there's 4 guys right, and that ends up being a 7 or 8 man box, you run the ball to the 3-man side. If the nose is cocked to one side and you're putting him into the count to the right, same thing. The 3-4 can be effective. One, if your nose guard is eating up 2 guys and being able to take on the guard and the center, if he's singled up with just the center or the guard and he gets through and creates havoc, it's forcing the running back to have to stop his momentum. So if it's an outside zone, he's not able to get to where he's trying to get to, and he has to either cut back, slow down, bounce it. And then you have additional speed on the field in your linebackers that are scraping. So instead of a guard or a center being able to reach, which means you're just leaving your guy going to the next guy, reach the linebacker, or the tight end being able to, hook his guy with the tackle and then reach the linebacker. Now all of a sudden you have linebackers that can shoot the gap because you have extras. So yes, it can fix the run game if your guys flow. It's going to come down to Eric Kendricks and Jordan Hicks or Brian Asamoah. Because those are the guys that are going to have to flow. They're going to have to move together. If you watch, the way that the Packers did with Devondre Campbell, it's an all-out attack. You just keep attacking. I remember the Ravens had a similar thing where they went from a 4-3 to a 3-4, and Ray Lewis wasn't happy because in the 4-3, the middle linebacker's covered. When you go to a 3-4, it's a little different, and now he's uncovered because the guards are uncovered, so they can reach the linebackers right away. He has no protection. It ended up being good for Ray long term because he realized what was going to happen and what to help. So, in a long story short, with the scheme, yes, they can fix the run game, but it comes down to the players, to be honest. At the end of the day, you can line up wherever you want, but if you can't get to the guy, if you don't want to make that tackle, it does not matter. If you're not the abusive, aggressive person in this fight, it's not going to matter. You have to take the fight to them, create a second line of scrimmage, force them to have to make secondary moves and not just be able to get going full speed downhill. I think that's the thing. It becomes a mentality. I think za'darius Smith is going to add that early mentality. And then again, you're getting guys back that were hurt. You get Danielle Hunter back. So a lot of that's going to change.
With everybody running that wide zone now, too, it does come down to your defensive backs a lot of times and your outside linebackers, because you can have a Harrison Phillips and a Dalvin Tomlinson on the interior, but teams are going to run away from them. Teams ran away from Michael Pierce all the time. So the impact of those big nose tackles kind of gets diminished when teams can run to the outside. So that's where you need Dantzler, Peterson, Sullivan, Harrison Smith crashing down. You need those guys to be the ones to tackle. And Eric Kendricks had a sneaky poor year in tackling, I felt like, last year. He needs to have a little bit of a bounce back in 2022.
Yeah.
All right, question number 2. Karl-Anthony Towns made the All-NBA third team, which activates the SUPERMAX contract extension. So now the Timberwolves have the right to offer him 4 years, $211 million, Ron. It's not a bad payday. I think that's over $50 million a year. So the question to you is, does Cat get offered and accept the SUPERMAX?
I mean, if he gets offered, he definitely is going to accept it. I have seen guys turn down money for a different team. I think he's where he wants to be. I think he loves Anthony Edwards. I think he loves D'Lo. We don't know if D'Lo's going to be here. Do they offer it to him? That's the question. And that's where I am torn. I am so torn because, in my opinion, with his size, his ability to shoot, his ability to, when he really wants to turn it on, But then you look at the moments where he shrunk and he was small and he wasn't visible. He wasn't in the game. He didn't help his team. He looked like he wanted to go home. Frustrated with the foul calls, going off on referees. That's the times where fans are like, man, if this guy can be a killer every single time, then yes, he's worth the $211 million. That's where I struggle is he worth that? Is he that guy every single time? But we've seen guys like John Wall get it. We've seen James Harden get it. We've seen all these guys get it that don't deserve it and haven't played since they've gotten it. So I don't really know because I feel like it's a little bit of a curse sometimes with this Supermax. Maybe the money's so heavy that they're getting hurt. I don't know. Like it's been a curse with some of these big Supermax contracts of guys just never coming back from it and being healthy or requesting trades after they get them. And then, other teams not, having to figure out ways to pick it up and can they handle it under their salary cap. But if they offer it, yeah, he's going to accept it. I don't think he wants to go anywhere else. I did see, Miami Heat made or Joel Embiid said Miami Heat need another big man or superstar. I don't see Karl-Anthony Towns jumping to South Beach. I could see Embiid doing it because, he hasn't seemed happy. He's seen all his guys leave. Ben Simmons, now James Harden's acting like he might. Who knows what's going to happen there. I could see Karl-Anthony Towns, sticking around Minneapolis. I just don't. 211. That's a lot. That's a lot of money.
Yeah. I kind of think you have to offer it. I think you do, because if you don't, you're a young nucleus, right? You're only going to get better. Towns is a veteran superstar who kind of brings it all together. Like without Towns, your young nucleus is then missing a huge piece of the puzzle. And if you don't offer that, well, then you are getting into trade territory. You get into those last 2 years of the contract. If things go south and you're struggling at the trade deadline, then you do kind of have to start thinking about parting ways and getting value because he might be getting disgruntled. So just for the security, I think you have to do it. You can't let superstars or star, whatever you want to classify him as. If it's not superstar, it's definitely star. You got to keep those guys around in Minnesota when you have them.
True.
Last one, baseball question for you. The Twins lost yesterday in extra innings, 4-2. And I wanted to get your take on the extra inning rule, which seems to be permanent now. The runner on second to start extra innings. How do you feel about it? You like it? Dislike it? Would you keep it forever?
It's the international overtime rule. I learned that in my daughter's softball because they do it as well in tournaments when it's extra innings. They do the same thing. They put a girl on second, and then you start from there. I like it because then you don't have a bunch of 0 innings of people that can't even reach base. Now that person's at second, there's a pass ball. That person's at third. If it's a sacrifice fly, that person's at third. Sacrifice fly, person's home. Now you got one run in. Next team has to get similar chemistry or whatever. I remember the Twins Tigers game last summer. I was there for. Same thing happened. Extra innings. And I think the Twins had a walk-off, same thing, like a pop fly that the guy could not play it. Guy comes home and he scored. Either that or he caught it, but it was shallow enough that he ran and beat the throw home. But either way, they had a walk-off slide home. It happened. I like it. I think anytime you can make any sport faster, you have to do it, and that's the way you do it. You don't want to go 15, 16 innings and people are, oh my God, it was 4 or 5 hour game. It was so crazy. No, it's not crazy. It was boring. You just watch guys go out. That's boring. Let's get some runs. Let's force the other team. Just like overtime in sports, like college. Force it. That's why the NFL is trying to figure out ways to get more offense on the field for overtime. You want to make it as exciting as possible for the fans. And I think baseball's figured it out. That's one way to do it.
Yeah, we don't need 6-hour games when they're playing 162 of them.
Correct.
The only problem with it is that you can score that run without the aid of a hit. I mean, the ground ball advances the runner to third, fly out, scores them. You don't need a hit to score that run. So that's a little like that's not, I mean, what is the pitcher going to do in that case? Just throw his arms up. I did what I needed to do. But all in all, I think it's better for the game. It keeps the games moving, and fans are leaving extra inning games anyway. I mean, it's not like they're going to stick around for 18 innings. So you may as well, get the fans out of there with resolution after 10 or 11 innings.
But the thing about baseball is not sudden death. Both teams get a chance. So, hey, why not make it even if you're gonna go 16 innings, at least make it a bunch of 1-1-1-1. Like it's scores, it's two scores, back to you have to now you have to score. It also changes the mindset. Like you said, a grounder, he gets the third fly, he's home. Now another guy's up to bat. Who knows what happens there? But now the next team is like, okay, our guy's at second, lay down the bunt. Let's try to get two guys on base. Let's see what they do. Do they try to hold up the guy at second with the bunt? Like there's a lot to it, because sometimes people will just they rather keep the lead runner in a spot. Now you have a force out. You didn't move the runner, and now you have a force out at third. If it's a grounder to third or short, now you can get the lead runner and you can possibly turn a double play. So there's a lot of strategy, and I like it. I think you have to keep going with it. You don't want to lose fans. You want to create new fans, and that's the goal. Basketball is doing it internationally. Football is doing it by going international and adding more games to the season and changing their overtime rules. And now baseball is trying to get it as well. So I don't disagree with it. Mm-hmm. Well, that'll do it for the Ron Johnson Show today. I want to thank Robert Griffin for joining us. Please go back and download on our YouTube channel, but also subscribe on wherever you get your podcast platforms. You can check it out episode by episode, or you can digest the whole show. Either way, some good stuff out there. We talked about Colin Kaepernick or Kellen Mond. Should Colin Kaepernick actually be on the roster? Please go back and listen to that.